All Other Tomorrows, an alternate reality to the myriad species and mixed fortunes of man. If you don't know the story of All Tomorrows, you should really read it and watch my playlist detailing the events of the story, or you'll be super confused and I'll manipulate your evolution to turn you into potatoes. Knowing that this is YouTube and you probably won't do that, let me cover what's important for this vid real quick. All Tomorrows is a book by C.M. Kozman about speculative evolution in which Earth terraformed Mars, and then Earth and the newly established Martians get into a war. They almost all die, but then they don't and create the Star People to colonize the galaxy, who promptly get genetically manipulated by the Q, which turns them into a myriad of strange and uncanny forms, which eventually evolve into a series of new human species with their own unique societal structures. Some of these species didn't do that and got wiped out first, but in this alternate universe, that didn't happen. So let's get into it. In this timeline, the comet missed the Temptors planet, and these simp-abominations continued to evolve. The mindless male drones began to specialize on different tasks, splitting into several anatomically differing castes, the affiliation to each determined by their mother's hormonal balances during gestation. Wait a minute, they're both giving birth to them and using them to make more? Oh no, it's a whole species of incest babies! The means of controlling crowds of these workers and soldiers grew more and more intricate until they were guided almost as directly as radio-controlled toy cars. The anthill-like colonies formed by these creatures spread all over the planet, viciously competing with each other and spurring the evolution of intelligence. I would make a video where I give an actual ant farm DMT and other drugs, but that stuff just reminds me of my ex, and if we can take one lesson from the Temptors, it's that I'm not going back to that shit. Soon, females from one lineage learned to make their servitors create fire and farm crops, and everything went smoothly from there. The puppeteer civilization consisted, in a sense, solely of feudal lords. Sessile females owned territories around their homes and cultivated those using swarms of remotely controlled male workers. In the earlier stages of history, using systems of tubes transporting pheromones and mechanical dummies imitating signaling movements, and in later years by brain-to-brain neural interfaces. A matrilineal clan was the most common political entity in this world, and the healthiest men were often used as currency in international trade. In your culture, human trafficking is a crime against humanity. In this culture, it's business. Well, I guess it's always business. They don't give a shit about the other part here. Normalization can do great and terrible things to reality. The race progressed quickly, but it met the problem of overpopulation. While there were only a couple thousand queens in the biggest puppeteer city, there were millions upon millions of males, all who had to be fed and sheltered somehow. There was a split between progressives, who decided to replace all men with machines, and conservatives, who saw them as an extension of their bodies and considered this innovation a transhumanist perversion. This kind of reminds me of the Gravitals, but except not as much space Stalin-y. Man, this takes me back to last summer. Remember the song Little Dark Age? Nostalgia glasses. The sides went to war with each other, and the transhumanists won by using a genetic weapon that rendered the enemy queen sterile. After that, most of the males were disposed of, slaughtered, with only a fraction left alive as queen's personal servants and pets. I was a pet once. It was weird, but kind of fun. Despite the cruelty, this saved the world from demographic collapse and allowed for the creation of a post-scarcity society. The moral of the story is, when things look their darkest, you gotta dig deep and go on the best murder spree you possibly gosh darn can. It's the only way to save the world. Only then could the puppeteers finally afford to explore space and meet their distant post-human cousins. Pictured are two males of different castes, belonging to a pre-automation enthusiast. Both are heavily modified for their jobs with genetic engineering and mechanical augmentation, and controlled directly by the queen's brain. The towers seen in the backgrounds are the residences of their queen's relatives, each populated by just one female and a couple hundred servants, mechanical and organic alike. You humans judge this species, but the human who works on this show is literally just a less Cronenberg-y, cartoonish version of this around girls. Stupid horny fuck. If you enjoyed this video, you should check out my other videos detailing the lost species of All Other Tomorrows. You should also give my All Tomorrows playlist to run through. I made it around a year ago, and while I've improved lots in my video making, these ones are still bangers. I want to give a shout out to the writings that these videos were based on. I'll be linking it in the description. They were pretty much read word for word from the source, plus some jokes and goofy bits added by yours truly. If you enjoyed the narration except for my stupid jokes, and are also able to read, because sometimes I really can't tell with your species, go check out the original work. I also want to thank Hot for providing some awesome drawings of the species in the universe for this video. They do amazing spec bio artwork, and you should go check out all their thingies. You may recognize them from the Teaming Universe series. Anyways, if you enjoyed this and want me to come back and delve back into the All Tomorrows universe, make sure to like, comment, subscribe with all notifications, and make well,